folks, Tony Pignato, and I am the special guest host on today's episode of Talk Shit. Now, normally, you see this guy right here interviewing some ninja special ops guy. Well, we're going to flip it up a little bit because what I'm going to do is I'm going to interview TJ, aka Sig Glock and Colts. He's also the HMFIC and founder of TacticalSht. Now, relax, big guy. I got this. This is what I do for a living, man. You don't understand how nervous this case. Like, really, I don't say nervous. I mean more angry. But
yeah, it's nervous. I'm like, I'm in awe of you. You are, such a powerful, just.
That's what happens when you have 3,000 followers on Instagram. You become very powerful very quickly.
I'm not used to sitting in this seat at all.
3,000 is the pinnacle. That's where you peak right after that.
You become an influencer at that point.
That's right. Yeah,
you get free shit.
Brand influencer is what you become.
Basically a gun buddy with a dick at that point.
I've always been that. Just nobody watched. So here's what happened. Now, I came down here yesterday, drove from Lexington, Kentucky, came to St. Charles to come to TacticalSht, and we were talking about High Caliber Community, which is another organization I'm very happy to be a part of.
Awesome project.
Very, very cool project. And I sit down, and sit down, stand up, whatever. There was Jameson's involved, and I said, hey, man, listen, tell me the story. We've all seen the videos. We've seen the videos. We've seen the Facebook followings and the Instagram followings and the YouTube stuff, and we've seen the GOAT. Everybody knows. We saw the cannon. Yeah. We saw the flying burritos and all that stuff. But I actually asked him, I said, hey, dude, tell me your story. This is, I cannot make a truer statement. 5 minutes into this, I said, stop, because we're going to go on camera. We're going to talk. I want to be the guy that has that interview. I want to be that interview. Like I'm, interviewing this guy.
Never been done before.
And here we are today on Talk Shit, interviewing TJ. Now let's get started. Now, the story is amazing, and you're going to agree by the time we get done with this segment. I want to start off, talk to me about TJ. Who is TJ? We got Sig, Glock, and Colt, but who is TJ?
I'm just a 43-year-old bearded white guy, that's an ex-cop.
They can see that.
Yeah. No, seriously, I graduated the police academy in 1995.
Sure.
And went into law enforcement in St. Louis. Y'all might have heard of St. Louis, in a town real close to another place you've heard of, Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah.
Ferguson, when I was a police officer in North St. Louis County, was the nice part of town.
Wow.
And I mean, the really nice part of town.
Sure.
And so I went down there, and I ended up not only being a police officer, but I was on the drug and gang unit. And I did a lot of narcotics interdiction, street level stuff, a little bit of door kicking, working with SWAT and the undercover guys, and so that was basically what formed who I am today.
Sure.
And your
before spice.
Before that, I was always a gun guy.
Right on.
I started shooting when I was like knee high to a grasshopper, and BB guns, pellet guns, 22s, and it went from there. And even when I was a cop, I was the guy that all my friends would call if they were going to buy a gun. What kind of gun should I buy?
Sure.
Or I want to carry a gun. What should I do? Actually, back then there was no concealed carry, so only my felon friends would call me and ask me.
It was like concealed carry is more by weight. If you could carry it, you could carry it.
Right. So, I was always a gun guy. I was always the guy people turned to for advice. And I'll admit, I wasn't always Mr. Know-It-All, but I tried to give them as good of advice as I could.
Sure.
And so one thing led to another, and, my law enforcement career, I decided to go a different direction, and I got into marketing,
Wow.
And it was a big change for me, for going from the stress of getting shot at to the stress of being an entrepreneur and wondering if you're going to be able to, feed your family and whatnot and cash flow and all that stuff. That was a huge transition for me, back then, and I dealt with a lot of stress from that.
Sure.
But eventually,
That's the gray beard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I had a lot of successes in that world as an entrepreneur, but I also had way more failures. Right. I mean, TacticalSht is not the first, company I started. It's probably it's probably the sixth or seventh, and several of those are dead and gone now.
That's called experience. There was a statement I saw in a movie one time. A guy said, you lack experience, and experience comes from years of fucking up.
Right.
So, I got a lot of experience.
What I get a kick out of is people say to me, oh, you got so lucky. You created a multi-million-dollar company in just a few years. And I'm like, look, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for all the things I did in the 25 years leading up to those 3 or 4 years, it would have never happened, because everything along the way You know, me shooting guns when I was a little kid, me watching Miami Vice religiously when I was a kid,
Sure.
which then led to me being a cop and finding out that it's not like that. I don't get to drive a Ferrari, and I don't get, you know, I don't get all that fun fast boats and stuff like that. Yeah. And being a narcotics cop in St. Louis was not like Miami Vice.
No.
You know, but because I was watching Miami Vice as a kid, I became a cop, and because I became a cop, you know, I got into the tactical lifestyle.
Sure.
You know, when I was a police officer, you know, we had continuing education credits, right?
Yes.
And you had to take training every single month, and you had to sign up for it. Yeah, it was required of you to maintain your post certification here in Missouri. And so every month, you know, other guys are taking all these different certifications and stuff. I would sign up for everything that involved the word tactical or shooting or combat or, you know,
awesome.
Whatever. And so I was a very hands-on guy. And that was what I wanted to do. But then I got into the marketing thing, had those successes, had those failures, and then suddenly tactical shit happened, and it was an absolute fucking accident.
Now, one of the things I want you to pay attention to, what TJ just said. Listen to the parts where he talked about failures, challenges, things he had to overcome, little bits and pieces that he put in to make this completed puzzle that is still growing, obviously, to where he is right now. So when the difference between success and failure is not overcoming the challenges. You hit that first brick wall and you're like, it sucks. I can't do it. TJ's lucky. He's probably got a trust fund.
Yeah.
But now we know that's not the case. This is hard work.
Right.
This is labor. This is research. You spent the long days, the long hours, you building who you are and where you're at right now.
I took whatever opportunities that I had, whether those opportunities were given to me. Sure, my father gave me an opportunity to come work for his company when my wife was sick of me getting shot at for $23,000 a year.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, I left law enforcement full time because my wife was tired of, back then, the final straw was I was working one day. Now, this is back when they had bag phones.
Okay? Oh, wow.
My mobile phone was in a bag in my patrol car, and I had a pager on my belt. And I was working a bank robbery, and I got, and there was a call out, officer in need of aid, shots fired, officer down. And I go flying down there, and I get there, and I'm the first uniform on the scene.
Wow.
I was working day shift that month, and there's an ununiformed undercover officer who I quickly found out was an officer laying dead on the ground.
Oh,
and
wow.
he'd been shot in the head, and so I had to, you know, secure that scene. Blah blah blah. Me being essentially a beat cop at that time. You know, my job, as soon as all the ranking guys got there, they said, yeah, go out there and stop traffic and block that road and keep it blocked. So the rest of that afternoon, I spent, you know, basically doing this.
Sure.
Go that way while they're taking their investigation. My wife is at her mom's house, and she sees on the television, and I worked in a town called Pine Lawn.
Right.
Also known in St. Louis as Crime Lawn.
Oh.
And so she sees on the news, officer killed in Pine Lawn, more after this. And it's a helicopter shot, and all you see is a body on the ground. She starts freaking the fuck out, right? My pager starts blowing up, right? I'm on one side of the intersection, my car's over there. I'm the only guy that's able to block the traffic. I can't go to the car to get my bag phone to make the call. And so it's 911, 911. She's calling me, I'm not answering.
Oh,
And so
wow.
finally, you know, seemed like a lifetime went by. I was able to call her and say, hey, it's not me. And, you know, after that, she was like, fuck this shit. You're going to work for your dad. Right. And so my dad owned an ad agency at the time.
Cool.
He retired from radio advertising. And so, you know, I was not Mr. Clean Cut. You know, I was actually very militant. You know, I was that cop with the high and tight and, you know, never smiled
right.
and all that shit. And so my wife went to Walmart and bought me my Dickies and my button-up shirts and my ties.
Right.
And I went to work for my dad, but I didn't give up my badge. I stayed a cop for several years. I worked part-time for a long time, you know, to keep a full-time commission. I was working 40 hours every 2 weeks.
Sure.
And then after that, I went to a reserve status, and I did that for a long time until the liability of being an entrepreneur with assets and income became too much to play weekend warrior and beat people over the head with mag lights.
Sure.
You know, I didn't want to end up losing everything I was building over here because of the fun I was having over there.
Sure.
And so I ended up getting out of law enforcement completely in and around 2003 or 4 or somewhere around there. And, you know, and then I was just a marketing guy. I was just a marketing guy for a while. I shot guns in the winter like everybody else. You know, I'd go to the range and, you know, put holes in paper at 25 yards every once in a while just to make sure I still had it. You know, do some Mozambique drills to make sure I still could do it, you know, and that sort of thing. And then the world changed because Obama was elected.
Right on.
And that changed my life. Fate took me in a whole other direction.
That's the interesting thing about that makes you a double threat guy is you're a gun guy, you're in the 2A community, and he's a marketing guy. Yeah, think about that. Remember that word marketing. We're going to come back to that here in a few minutes. That's the difference between going pew 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 and actually hitting the 10 ring with your advertisement and your marketing techniques. Right. Well, let's move forward. Let's talk more about we got the deep down and dirty of this guy. Now, talk to me about where did the idea for this is.
This is where the rubber.
Tell me where this came from. This is the best part of the whole thing. Go. I'm in.
All right. So New Year's Eve, almost 5 years ago. Okay, so it'd be 5 years this New Year's Eve, and we're shooting this right now. It's like 2 weeks till Christmas. Okay. Right. So New Year's Eve, I'm at a private club for New Year's Eve, and I'm sitting at the bar and I'm talking. And this is I want to say right after Sandy Hook.
Sure.
And I was very, very vocal on social media on my TJ Kirgin Facebook page. I was very pro 2A, very anti-Obama. Fuck Obama, still. And my handful of not so conservative friends fled from my Facebook page, and I'm like, hey, you unliked me, haha, I don't give a fuck. But I became very obsessed.
Sure.
As did many. You know, I didn't like what was happening in this country at all. I was actually scared to death. And scared to death for the future of the nation.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
And so that night, New Year's Eve, 5 years ago, I was sitting at the bar and I was talking about AR-15s. Imagine that, right?
Go figure.
And my buddy Bob looks at me and he goes, you know, you're in the wrong business. And he was kind of a dick about it, because Bob's a dick. But anyway.
Everybody's got a friend named Bob who's a dick.
So he says, you're in the wrong business. And I said, why is that? I love marketing. And he said, well, you need to be marketing guns, motherfucker, because that's all you ever talk about. And in my mind, I was like, okay, maybe I should change the subject. He's obviously aggravated with the topic. But I fired right back at him without even thinking. I said, Bob, I don't need to market guns. There's a gun dealer on every corner in America. I need to market tactical shit. And he looks at me and he goes, what the fuck is that? And I said, tactical shit is everything else. It's all the stuff you bolt to the gun. It's the stuff you put the gun in. It's the stuff you wear when you're shooting the gun. It's the lifestyle. It's the lasers. It's the grips. It's the stocks. It's the bolt carrier groups and the shoes and the pants and the belts and the holsters. Yeah. And then I changed the subject. And we went on with our evening. And the next day, I'm driving down the street. And, it might be a little foggy. But I'm driving down the street, and I thought to myself about that conversation. It all starts coming back to me. And I remembered what I said, and I'm like, tactical shit. That's kind of fucking catchy.
Right.
Well, I've used the term before. I know I have. As a cop.
If you've been a military guy, a gun guy, a police officer, anything that is in a service or a selfless service, you have said the word like, oh man, look at all that cool tactical shit. Yeah, we said it.
Right. And so I come to a stoplight, because I don't text and drive. And so I flip over my phone, and I go to GoDaddy. Right?
You flipped your phone.
I flip my phone, I go to GoDaddy, and I typed in TacticalSht.com, and it came back available. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do this. Because I owned a marketing company.
I'll spend that $7.99.
Yeah, so I spent the $7.99. I think it was $8.99, maybe $12. I don't know. So I got the domain, and I went home, and I created a Facebook page, Tactical Shit. And we didn't have a cool logo at the time. I went like everybody else, grabbed some fucking Punisher logo and threw it out there. And I stopped with my 2A and my gun bunnies and all the other stuff that I was doing on my Facebook page. I stopped all that and I put it all on Tactical Shit. It was me. Right?
Sure.
I'm still doing the marketing thing. I'm still the marketing guy, but this was the real me in my little corner of the world where I could just be me. At work, I'm still dressing in a tie and going and kissing other people's ass.
My social media man cave. Get out.
Right. So I started doing the Tactical Shit Facebook page, and by the end of that weekend, I had 300 fans. And to
So
put this
like my page.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And that was a lot in just a couple days back then. It was like, holy shit, what is this? And so I didn't tell anybody about it. At the ad agency, I didn't tell anybody about it. And so about a week later, I had 3,000 fans. Okay. And I'm like, wait a minute, now I'm onto something. And I was making connections within the industry. People were calling me going, hey, I love what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, holy shit, I'm just a guy that likes to shoot guns, an ex-cop, And so I keep being me, I keep doing tactical shit. I brought on a couple other admins to help me out. Now I come from the media world, right?
Sure.
I'm a media marketing guy. So
Right
I started running tactical shit like a little media thing, right? I brought in the lovely Jacqueline Carrizosa, who a lot of people know, Brojack on Instagram.
Yep.
She was one of my first admin. And a couple other people. Valine Valhalla was another one, a beautiful airsoft chick from Canada.
Right.
And then there was another guy named Spike, gun guy from Philly. And we ran the page, and that was all it was. It was a page. It was entertainment and information.
Sure.
Being helpful, informative, funny as fuck.
Right on.
And absolutely authentic as fuck. Just because me being the ex-cop. You being ex-military, we have a different sense of humor than the rest of the world, right? When we're on the accident scene, we'll pick up the part of the guy's head and be like, anybody need a hairpiece? That actually happened one time.
True.
But we make jokes that are off color and uncouth and whatnot, a lot of times just to be able to deal with what we're doing or what we saw or whatever. But it's a whole different mentality of the veteran and law enforcement community that the regular people don't get. And so we basically injected that into this Facebook page, and we were just funny with no limits.
Well, you're in a situation where we're in a world full of filters and buffers,
Right.
And it's a slap to the grill of reality. I mean, it really truly is, and it's blatant honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how weird is that?
Yeah.
Hey, man, this is my real name. That's not a filter. That's how I look that fucked up. it's awesome.
So we do that, and then one day, we got the 3,000 fans. It was only a couple weeks into it. I go back to the company and my company, and I said, it's an ad agency. I got a graphic designer sitting there, and I said, hey, I want to see if maybe we can get some sponsors of this, or we can somehow make some money so that I can pay for ammo. That was the initial business plan, was pay for ammo.
Sure.
That was it. Okay.
7 paragraphs.
Yeah.
State.
And my art director, who's an awesome guy, extremely talented. His name's Mike Meininger.
Love this part.
His name is Mike Meininger.
Stop.
I'm dead serious. That's his name. Mike Meininger, a great artist, but an absolute, back then, liberal fucktard. All right? And I know Mike will watch this. He'll see this, and hopefully he's changed his mind because he's growing up, right? But back then, he was an Obama voter, anti-gunner, and he was my art guy, right? But he was an incredible illustrator. And he says, I don't want to be involved in the project. I was like, well, all I'm asking you for is a logo. And he says, I don't want to have anything to do with this. And I said, okay, cool. You know what? I'll job it out. I'll hire somebody on Fiverr.com or some shit,
Sure.
And so the next morning, Mike comes into my office and he says, I don't know why, but this came to me last night. And he throws what is now the Tactical Shit logo down on my desk.
Awesome.
And my jaw hit the floor. So interesting trivia. The Tactical Shit Gun Spartan, which has become the Nike swoosh of the lifestyle, it was actually designed originally by an anti-gun guy.
That's awesome.
Imagine that. I mean,
win. That's a market. That's a win column.
So we get with the logo, and we're like, okay, how can we make some money? And we said, okay, well, we got fans. So
Sure.
Who else has fans, and how do they make money? Well, sports teams and rock bands.
Sure.
So how do they make money? They merchandise.
Yeah.
So we took that logo and put it on some shirts. And the first shirt we ever did was our forefathers would be done shooting by now. And
Wow.
and that shirt went very viral and kind of launched us. And the other thing I was really into, I was just fascinated by morale patches.
Yeah.
And morale patches were big in Afghanistan and Iraq. And when those wars were never really over, but as those troops came home, those patches started to cross over into the civilian market, the law enforcement market.
Yep.
And so I was fascinated by them, and I said, you know what, let's sell those too, because I could buy and sell morale patches and keep them in a drawer.
Yep.
I didn't need a warehouse.
Yep.
And the margin was decent.
Drop in an envelope, punch.
Yeah.
Gone.
And so what I did from there was we'd spend $3,000 on shirts and morale patches, and we'd sell them for $4,500, and then we'd take $4,500 and we'd buy $4,500 worth of morale patches and shirts, and we'd sell them for $6,000.
Right.
And we just kept doing it. Reinvest,
Sure.
reinvest. Which, and the luxury of that, all you entrepreneurs that are out there, one of the reasons Tactical Shit was successful is because I didn't need to take a paycheck from it for 3 years. I didn't take a dime. I just reinvest 100% every single time I got money in my hand. It was right back out the door. And, that was awesome until the end of the first year when I found out what I owed in taxes on my inventory. But, so that's basically what we did. We just grew, and then eventually, one day we're selling, we're the largest stocking dealer of morale patches in the world.
Really?
Okay? Yeah. I mean,
wow.
The only one that comes close to us is LA Police Gear. Other than that, nobody has in stock as many SKUs of morale patches as we do. And my wife actually that's her full-time job here, is to basically buy and manage the morale patch inventory. We have an entire wall of this building that is nothing but little bitty drawers full of morale patches, and we have awesome. 18,000 SKUs of morale patches here in the building. No, not 18,000, 1,800. There's 18,000 products in the building. 1,800 of them are morale patches.
Wow.
But so that grew, and grew and grew, and then one day I'm like, you know what? We probably ought to sell real tactical shit. We're selling shirts and fucking morale patches. So, we struck a deal.
Real tactical patches.
Yeah. So next thing you know, we're learning about body armor, and we're learning about carriers and belts and holsters, and I knew about all this shit, but I didn't know what I needed to know. So, learned it and brought it in, and now eventually now we're TAC Pro Gear and First Spear and Shellback,
sure.
and we got RMA for our armor line, and and that helped blow the company up too. So
entrepreneurs, listen to this. This is business 101. Here are the things. Here are the sacrifices, the experience, the business sense, the advertising, the marketing sense starts creating revenue into the company, expands as he gets control of that revenue space. I'm telling you, this is business 101 stuff. This was what's so awesome about talking to this cat yesterday and coming in here and begging him to share this with you. I mean, honestly, you realize this video is going to become somebody's inspiration.
I hope so.
Which is awesome.
That's
as it should be.
I want to be able to pass on the knowledge to the guys that want to pull up their bootstraps and try to build something. And and if anybody can learn anything, that's awesome. That fuels my soul, right?
One of the things I told TJ yesterday when I came in is I said that I liked so much about being in this tactical shit environment at this place. What it is it becomes that it's a fob, man. I mean, it's like when you get out of the military or when you get out of law enforcement or you're trying to find like-minded people, and you are in a world full of people that may not think the way you do, may hear profanity or a joke that's off color, especially where we're at right now in our society where everybody's feelings are hurt and everything's going on, being able to walk in the door and be like, hey, what the fuck's going on? I mean, for me, it's my safe space.
Yeah.
It really is. It's my safe space that I can use my words.
Yeah, Tactical Shit is a safe space away from liberal fucktards.
Yeah, it really is. And it is. I'm back in the patrol base, man. And that's what it is. I said, areas like this, places like this throughout the world. And I said, dude, man, you're the freaking base commander, man. I love it. I want to come visit, man. I want to come in and drop a rucksack. That's what I'm saying, man. I want to drop in. I want to rack ammo. I want to hang out. I mean, that's the thing about it. It's a lifestyle brand. It really is. And it's awesome.
You need to come back next Memorial Day. Actually, Armed Forces Day, right before Memorial Day, we have our annual ruck. We usually have about 500 vets here, fully kitted, and we do an 8-mile ruck and hit a bunch of bars. It's a good time.
It's cool, man. I'll get a dump pouch to hold my French fries and shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty awesome. Okay, let's move on because we got a lot of stuff we need to talk about.
So basically, we started making money, and we're like, okay, what is this? And, we said, it's not a store. This Tactical Shit's not about, being a store,
sure.
Right? We are a social media community of like-minded individuals.
There you go.
One that has grown now, almost 5 years later. We've got 800,000 fans on Facebook. We've got almost 400,000 fans on Instagram. We got over 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. But we also have other pages and whatnot. All in all, our reach, we have 2.6 million fans, followers, and subscribers. About 1 million of those call themselves tactical shitheads. And we reach somewhere around 77 million people per month, or at least till this month. And Facebook's been sticking it up my ass and snapping it off. But, they're not exactly 2A friendly.
No.
But so I made a decision early on, like in the first year, to run the company as a media company.
Sure.
It's like Disney with guns. So it's all about being that authentic as fuck,
Yes.
helpful and informative, engaging, and we created Tactical Shit News. Our TacticalSht.com is not our store. That's actually our news site. So we actually have a news department, and those guys all day long they keep their ear to the wall, listening for news you and I give a shit about.
Right.
News in the pro shooting community. News about ISIS. News about police officers being shot or shot at. News about Hillary trying to ban things, or Dianne Feinstein, or so they curate that news, and they also editorialize about that news, and they publish those articles 8 to 12 times a day, every day, 365 days a year.
And some of you out there may not know this, what this guy's talking about. It's more than just Facebook. It's more than just YouTube and Instagram. I mean, this is an entire freaking platform. I mean, it really is. It's a media platform.
Yeah, we've got fans that's how they get their news every day. They go to TacticalSht.com and they say, okay, this is what happened in the world while I was sleeping. Now I can go on.
Awesome.
And so that's really cool. And then we also have our YouTube channel, and that's our TV station. That's where we make our our ISIS hunting videos, and our Antifa hunting videos, and our gun part reviews, and our product reviews, and and videos like this.
Right on.
They all go on that YouTube channel. Instagram, Facebook, and we're on all the other social medias too, but those are our two primary platforms. Right now, we last year we were an Inc. 500 company.
Right on. That's what this is right here.
Yeah.
Explain this to me.
Yeah, so Inc. magazine is kind of like Fortune magazine, and so they do the Inc. 500, which is the 500 fastest growing privately held companies in America. And so we came in, was that 115th and fastest growing company in the country. Another business that was in that in our genre was Nine Line. I think they were like 98th or something like that.
Wow.
And so we were actually the 8th fastest growing retail business in the country, and that's based on a three-year trend. I think our growth was like 2,300% or something in 3 years. And so last year we finished the year out at just over 4 million. And
So you're legit.
yeah, we're evidently a real
Legit.
deal. Something.
So this is this is a pretty important award.
Yeah, it was a big deal for me, because when I was an entrepreneur, I was reading Inc. magazine, and it was very cool to become part of the 500 for sure. It was definitely one of my. It was another thing in the bucket.
This is obviously very, very impressive. The thing that most impressed me is this story. Tell that story.
Yeah, so it says, you'll never make $1, HBIC. So my business card doesn't say CEO. It's all part of that, what Tactical Shit's all about. My business card says HMFIC. I'm the head motherfucker in charge in this building.
I would say.
Right? I'm not necessarily the head motherfucker in charge at home, though.
No.
The head bitch in charge ranks above me.
All day.
Right? And so the HBIC, my lovely wife, Angie, one day, while I was looking at gun bunnies on the computer in the kitchen, posting something or whatever, she walks by and she kind of kicks the chair and she says, "Get off the fucking computer, go to work. Tactical Shit's never going to make you $1." So my wife...
That's such a great story, man. I love it.
Shortly after our first year, I guess, maybe towards the end of the first year when we started coming up on the $1,000,000th dollar,
Sure.
She quit her 26-year job as a manager in the food service industry and came to work for us. We're running the shipping department and customer service and buying morale patches when she knew nothing about morale patches. Now my wife knows every morale patch on earth, what they say, what they mean. She's it's entertaining trivia. But so she gave me that one day. Basically her way of eating crow. That she told me.
I imagine that takes a lot.
Oh my God, my Sicilian wife telling me she was fucking wrong.
That ranking, that job description, and then having to eat a little bit of crow.
Yeah.
So we've got Fortune 500, wife's work.
Inc. 500.
I'm sorry,
we haven't been
Inc.
Fortune 500 yet. That's next.
Well, we got to give him something next year. When you get the Nobel Peace Prize, of course, that's coming.
Obama's got that.
Now this. Tell me, now this is a family-owned business. You're going to like this.
Yeah, so, basically, several of the employees of the ad agency are still here.
Sure.
The ones that liked guns and stuff. Those guys are still here. Matter of fact, Chris Bilodeau, he was our web software development project manager, and he's now our basically my number 2 guy here and our buyer for Tactical Sht. He's gone from being a clean-cut young kid, project managing software to long-bearded, man's man.
Yes.
But
wears flannel even in the summer.
So we've got some of our original employees that we've brought along for the ride. My wife's here,
Right.
But not only my wife, my daughter works here.
Right.
My son helps out around here once in a while, but he's only 15. But my daughter works here on a daily basis. She works in shipping, and she also works out on the retail floor. We have my sister-in-law working here now. She actually runs our shipping department, Leslie. We now have her twin sister working for her in the shipping department.
That gets confusing at Christmas.
Oh my
parties.
God! Yeah, they have a lot of fun with the guys in the building
wow.
because we got twins working in shipping. My best friend that is a female. Her name's Melissa. She is now my office manager, and she's my girl Friday, does all my, and I got fucked so many times in that position. The people that handle your money, right? They're not like that. I had one employee one time, a family friend that I hired, embezzled $80,000 from me. Okay, so I learned my lesson along the way that you need to that you trust no one. But I finally broke on that. We recently hired Melissa because I actually do trust her. She signs $500,000 checks, and I totally am good with it. And so I got my best friend from when I was 14, my wife, and they get along, thank God. I've got my wife's sister-in-law, or my sister-in-law, her sister, my daughter, all working here. And then on top of that, we have a ton of veterans working for us.
That's awesome.
And that keeps this place hopping and interesting.
Yes.
Alex Milberg, 0331 Marine from Iraq. That's machine gunner for those of you that don't know. He is our retail manager.
That's awesome.
And he runs a crew that is just incredible with Red, White, and Ben and Everett and some of those guys out there on the retail floor. We've got Sean that handles our law enforcement agency business. We do a lot of, believe it or not, there's a whole lot of police departments out there ordering armor from Tactical Sht. And so Sean's a former SWCC boat guy, worked with SEAL Team 2, 30-something deployments under triple canopy in Blackwater in Afghanistan. And he's actually working, he freelances in shipping, but he handles agency business here at the shop. He's one of the guys you never see on camera because he's like, yeah, fuck that, I don't want to be out there.
Sure.
But there's good.
That's what's so great about a company like this that employs veterans. When you spend 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, we're in an environment where it's selfless service. It really is. And when you come into the civilian sector, that first 2 or 3 jobs that you work in the civilian sector as somebody who's been doing this selflessly for this many years, you come into an environment, you're going to get screwed because somebody's going to take advantage of the fact that you're there 30 minutes early and you stay 30 minutes late or an hour late. And to find it at a group like this, a business like this that appreciates that, I love it because I'm telling you right now, you give me 100 veterans, man, I'm going to take over the entire industry easily because I can talk to them different. They're all going to move forward. Everybody's going to be focused. Everybody's going to be motivated. They're going to work and they're going to give a shit.
It took me a while to learn how to do that because me not being military, me being law enforcement, we still had chain of command.
Sure.
And we still had, politics to deal with and all that. But it took me a while. My vets actually taught me how to lead.
It's awesome.
And I'm still working on that. It's kind of like being humble. As soon as you think you got it, you don't. But, they taught me how to lead. I remember when they came to me about 2 years ago, and they said, "Is this it? Is this what we're doing?" We were down on Main Street in St. Charles, and it was a coup d'état. They're like, "Look, what's your vision? We want our commander's intent." And so commander's intent. I'm like, well, okay. My plan is to buy a bigger building someplace, put in a much larger retail, have a warehouse, and then eventually start opening up additional tactical shits around the country, but not too many of them because we don't want to dilute the brand. And so we laid out a vision. I put it in writing for them. And then I went to the bank and I'm like, hey, can I borrow $1 million? And they're like, you want to? Oh, fuck yeah, let's do this. And so this building that we're in now used to be an Uncle Sam's Army surplus store.
Awesome.
And it had failed after a long, long run of success. It's well known in the St. Louis area that this is Uncle Sam's.
So the location's perfect.
Yeah, the location was perfect. I bought my first combat boots here when I was a kid. Bought my Chinese stars here when I was a kid. And so I bought this building, which is an 11,800 square foot building on the highway, major highway, Highway 70, right in the middle of the country. We get 100,000 cars a day going by, and we got the city of St. Peter's. God bless the St. Peter's mayor, allowed us to put tactical shit in lights.
That's awesome.
Now, they made us make the I an asterisk, and they made the asterisk have to be big as an O so that little old ladies would think it's tactical shot as they're driving by. But people that know.
That's awesome.
And one of the funniest things I hear from everybody in the county is my kids just love, every time we drive by, they're laughing about tactical shit.
Right on.
But so the vets coming to me and telling me that I had to give them the intent, my vision, pushed me to execute on the vision. And so what's funny is we've been in this building now a year, and they came to me a couple weeks ago. They're like, "Is this all we're gonna do?" I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we just fucking succeed?
We already took that hill. Where are we going now?
Right.
That's awesome.
That's exactly what they want. And so right now, where are we going? Our plan is to basically hold tight for about 2 years in where we're at right now, growing our agency business, getting some government contracts going, further developing our own brands like Liberal Tears Gun Oil and Liberal Tears Cleaner and Liberal Tears Coffee, and all the expanding on the Tactical Shit product line.
That's awesome.
But you better believe before the next election, we're going to be opening another Tactical Shit, and probably, hopefully, Orlando. If you're listening, we're hopefully coming to see you, Orlando, Florida, and then hopefully after that, Las Vegas, Nevada, right off the Strip. That's where we plan on going, and then after that, Texas. And the reason people are like, "Why do you want to go to Orlando and Vegas?" I'm like, well, they're both very pro-gun communities.
True.
But they're also places in America where, remember, there's a million tactical shitheads out there, and somebody goes to either Vegas or Orlando at least once every 5 years.
That's true.
For a convention or Disney World with the kids, or a wedding, or a girls' weekend in Vegas or whatever. And so we figured that's a great way to, the locals can support us.
Sure.
And it gives us, our fans, a destination. Hey, when I'm in Vegas, I want to stop by and see TJ and the guys at Tactical Shit. And that's the other thing that, we will be there. It's not we're not just going to go like sell a franchise. We're actually going to take people from here and put them there. And I'm going to have to travel more, which I'm not looking forward to. But that's the plan anyway. And plans are subject to change when you meet the enemy. But right now the enemy is Facebook, and we've got to get over. We got somebody out there needs to create a pro 2A social media. Please get that done and actually make it work.
Somebody.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing about with these guys, and that's what made me so excited about being able to sit here and talk to you about this today, is that where you're going from here. Not sitting on your haunches, not satisfied with the success you've reached now, but continue to grow, continue to drive. And what I talked about earlier was the fact that it's a place that I can come. It's a place that I can come, I can hang out, and I'm telling you, this is a destination stop. If you're on this road, if you're driving through here, come in here.
Yeah, we're right off
See the
the
goat
highway.
from the videos. I mean, come meet this guy. Come meet the guys.
Get a cup of Black Rifle coffee.
Right on, yeah, man. It's actually good coffee.
Maybe some Strike Force Energy.
Strike Force
Maybe
Energy.
we get some Strike Force Energy or some Black Rifle coffee. We are essentially.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have heard of Macy's. But
Yes.
We're the Macy's of the tactical industry. We've got Ranger Up. We've got Grunt Style.
Right on.
We've got Black Rifle Coffee, although we can't sell that online. We have it here in our store.
Right
Little piece of info, Black Rifle Coffee is making Tactical Shit coffee. It's going to be called Skullfuck.
Of course.
Yes, because everybody needs to get skull-fucked in the morning. Right. The logo's going to be amazing. Wait till you see it.
I would say so.
Yeah, it's a fucking it's a skull and a coffee cup, and one of the eyes is wallered out. But anyway, Skullfuck Coffee coming from Black Rifle Coffee, it's Tactical Shit's brand.
Right.
And then we're also having Black Rifle. Those guys are creating a new blend for Liberal Tears. A lot of you guys know Liberal Tears. We've got our bacon and maple flavored coffee.
Yeah. You cracked me up with that the other day when we were talking about Liberal Tears, about how it actually smells like bacon.
Yeah. All the liberal
Smoky bacon.
it's all about the bacon. Bacon and freedom goes together,
Of course it does.
And it makes liberals cry, and it makes Muslims not go to get their virgins and stuff.
Not to Muslim-y.
Yeah.
Get on Muslim-y.
Not that all Muslims are bad, just most of them.
Oh, well.
Did I just say that?
Out loud.
Yeah, okay.
And I think
do have some
we're
Muslim
probably
friends.
recording.
Yeah.
Probably recording
Okay.
most of this.
Okay.
It all depends. Our
But anyway,
technical guys looks like he's very
so
irritated.
Black Rifle Coffee, like I said, Grunt Style, we've got 9 line. All the brands you see on Facebook and Instagram, essentially, if they're popular and they allow, wholesale distribution, we strike a relationship with them and we bring in their products and we keep their products fresh. That's one thing about Tactical Shit that we do. from a product standpoint, if you're a shithead, you go to our website every single day, new shit is there.
Right on.
You know, we're bringing in new products 365 days a year, constantly turning and burning. So it's not boring to go shopping on the website. It is a bit cumbersome right now because the website's gotten so huge. But we're actually rolling out a new website it was supposed to be a month ago.
Huh.
And right now we're being told probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Is it that guy's fault?
It's that guy's fault.
Oh.
Not that guy's fault. That guy behind the camera, it's his fault for a lot of things.
Oh, well.
But FDE's behind the camera, Fat Dark Earth. But working on becoming Fit Dark Earth. But anyway, yeah, so we should be having a new website. It's going to be much more mobile friendly. It's going to have search by brand, search by size, search by color, search by sex. And we only have 2 sexes on our website. You're either a man or a woman. There is no other fucking option.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Not physically feel you.
Well, we made a decision recently that there is no such thing as chicks with dicks. They're guys with tits.
Or overweight people.
Yeah. Well, we have product for overweight people.
Right.
Yeah, lots of it.
So here's the cool thing about it. They are accommodating. Obviously, you've got all
That whole
kinds
conversation
of
derailed.
It just went quickly.
Woo!
Like
Right to the fucking ditch.
Yeah, I hooked into something and I'm trying to pull it in the boat, but I finally just let that one go, man. Hey, somebody rebait this hook. But anyway, so back in the wheelhouse. Tactical Shit, the website.
Yeah.
All the other platforms that you have, all the other offerings, the news. You're keeping all the freshest gear out there. They've got a great destination stop. This is your patrol base. Stop in here, drop your ruck, hang out with the coolest people. They're carrying the coolest products. You're accommodating. You have a knowledgeable staff. You employ veterans.
Mm-hmm. And we support veterans charities.
And not only is he entertaining, but the story's 100% inspirational. And that's why we wanted to take this time today to tell you.
Well, thanks for having me on my show.
Oh, it's great to have you. Pleasure. Now get the fuck out of my office.
That'll do, man. That'll do.